Hey guys, welcome to our week one class meeting for module 155. We started that this week, so that's exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Um, but first, I want to introduce you guys if y'all have not met Miss Marsha Gallagher yet. This is one of my besties outside of work and one of my besties inside of work too. So, Miss Marsha.
Hi, my name is Marsha Gallagher. I am your program chair for medical billing and coding. Me and Miss Brandy, this is not the first job that we've worked together. This is the second. And what's funny is I was a cardiology coder at a company called ACS, Acadiana Billing Solutions, and Miss Brandy was an AR specialist, and we sat there was my desk, a desk in between, and she sat there.
Yep.
So the funny story with me and Miss Brandy is she used to have to come turn my computer on for me because I was so scared to touch it. So much of what I learned, just basic stuff, came from Miss Brandy. And now I impress her with what I learned about my computer skills because they were zero. But I still do not like Excel spreadsheets. Just saying. Never going to come across. It's never going to happen. But I want to encourage you guys because and let you know that the field that you're going to changed my life. I have 5 children. I was the stay-at-home mom. I homeschooled. I am married, been married for, well, we've been together for 31 years. So long. I can't remember how long we've been married. 29, I think, 28, 29, a lot of years. But when I homeschooled my children, and when they decided they wanted to go to school, I said, well, what am I going to do with me? And so I chose medical billing and coding, and I have been blessed every step of the way. Now I am an instructor. Never dreamed of having a career for myself, y'all. But now I can look at people and say, oh, I have a career. I'm an instructor. But before that, I could say, oh, I have a career. I'm a medical billing associate, or, oh, I'm a medical coder. So I'm very, very proud of myself. That's hard for me to say. I'm not prideful, but I'm proud of what I've accomplished and what I'm able to share with you guys, because being able to share a field that changed my life gave me confidence and gave me a new life to live, because now I have income coming in. And so and nowadays with, the price of eggs, right? You got to have the income, right? So I just want to tell you guys that I'm so excited and I'm proud that you decided to continue your education, because medical billing and coding is not just medical billing and coding anymore. The field is vast. There's a place for you. It will change your life. But remember, you have to crawl before you walk. I didn't start out as a coder. I started out as a biller. But Miss Brandy started out as an AR specialist, where she was constantly trying to get claims paid. There's so many facets of this. I just want to encourage you guys and say that I am so happy that you're here with us.
Thank you, Miss Marsha. And yeah, she's not joking. She couldn't turn off her computer. And at the end of the day, she was like, "Do I have to turn it off? How do I do that?" And I'd have to come walk her through stuff. And now she's like a pro. Now she's got it. She can put together a good spreadsheet, even though she hates it. Speaking of which, have you had any issues with that one that Sean and I put together?
You mean the final grade
The
spreadsheet?
grades, yeah.
I didn't use yours.
Excuse me?
It didn't work for me. I used another one. I put it in Google Sheets for myself.
How did it not work? But we can talk about that later.
Yes, I don't do Excel. You know this.
Just copy and paste. Nothing for you to do but copy and paste. All right, so anyway, we'll leave Miss Marsha alone about her technical skills and not using my spreadsheet. But all right, so let's talk a little bit. So Archie got me laughing. First of all, announcements. Announcements. Okay, so National Technical Honor Society, we have a round of nominations that's going to be coming up, I think, in late February, early March. Now, for my new folks, y'all are a little bit early to get into NTHS. You have to maintain a GPA of a 3.5 for a little bit to qualify for that. And we have to know that you participate in class and stuff like that. So it might be a little bit early for y'all to get nominated for that, but a little bit down the road in 3 or 4 months when we have another round of nominations, y'all will be in like Flynn. Just keep on doing what you're doing because y'all are doing great, okay? So NTHS, we have spring graduation is going to be May the 5th. It's a Friday, for I think the first Friday in May. That's going to be in Lafayette, Louisiana. I have a few of y'all that are going to be in that or graduated by that time and eligible for that ceremony. So that's going to be exciting, and y'all will be getting emails in regard to graduation, in regards to cap and gowns, regalia, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now I have heard from a couple of students who graduated in the fall, who are waiting on diplomas to come in, that they are still being printed. So just bear that in mind if y'all are about to finish. They do take like 8 to 10 weeks to get to y'all after your finish date. So something to keep in mind. All right, let's see. Got graduation, NTHS. All right, module changes. Okay, so just about everybody has finished up in 154. I got a couple people who had some personal stuff going on that are still working on a few things, but overall, y'all did really, really well. Really, really well. The majority of you guys made A's in 154. I had like a handful of B's and C's, but the majority of y'all did really fantastic. Really fantastic. And I want y'all to keep this in mind. For those of y'all that didn't make A's, and I did unfortunately have 1 or 2 folks that didn't pass the course, do not get discouraged. We all trip and stumble, okay? Do not get discouraged if you didn't do well in this module. The great thing about Unitech is it's a Ferris wheel. We're going to let you repeat this module at the end to make sure that you know what you need to know, okay? Do not get discouraged. Every module is a fresh start. This one, 155, is only 20 days long, so you kind of have to be on top of things, guys. We had a little leeway in 40 because it was so long, but we are literally going to be in and out of 155 within the month. So I think it ends, we're in it for like a solid month, 20 days, so 5 days a week. You know. So just stay on top of your assignments and stuff for this one. It's going to go by quick. Really.
It ends March the 8th.
There you go. Yeah, February 8th to March 8th, 1 solid month. So just stay on top of your assignments. Get with me when you have things come up that are gonna, delay your submissions and stuff like that. Guys, communicate. And here's something else. If I text you, please respond. Even if I'm not, asking you something specific, I'm just saying, hey, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Be so kind as to respond. I need to know that y'all are alive out there. Okay. But you definitely, guys, when you get into the workplace, and especially if you work from home, you better answer the phone when your boss calls or sends you a message. Because you won't have that job long if you don't. My boss up and called me out of the blue this morning. Before our morning meeting, just out of the blue. She had a question about something, so she just popped in up on my screen and video called me. And Marcia knows I am not a morning person. Like I don't do anything with this until I have to be recorded. So I was looking fairly rough, which is not how we're supposed to be during work hours. But she met me with grace, thank goodness, and she gets it. But I mean, you have to communicate with your work people, and especially as billers and coders, you're going to be communicating with payment posters. You're going to be communicating with physicians. You're going to be communicating with insurance companies. all manner of people, all manner of people. There's going to be times when you're going to have to communicate with patients. You know, if you're in a billing position and you're in one of those jobs that requires you to answer calls when patients call about their bills, I've done that. You know, you have to be willing to answer the phone and willing to talk to people. And you know, you need to treat school the same. You need to treat school how you would treat your job. You know, ask yourself, would Miss Brandy fire me for this? I'm just kidding. I'll probably would not fire anybody, but you know, we try to maintain that professionalism, because here's the thing: we don't just want to get you into a job. We want you to be able to keep that job and make something of it, make a life out of it, make a career out of it, right? So, in order to hold down a job, you got to maintain your professionalism, be a team player, be communicative. Okay. So yeah. So if I shoot you a text, please respond. All right. So I think that's it for general announcements and in my soapbox for the day. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Module 155 and what we're going to be looking at. So I know that most of y'all are going to be like, yay, the end of coding. Because yeah, we're getting to the end of coding. Look, Marsha's shaking her head. Okay. We both worked in the same place. Marsha likes to code. Brandy likes to bill. I don't know why she likes coding so much. I'm not crazy about it. It's not my preferred cup of tea. I'm a biller.
Coding is not my favorite. My favorite is billing. Let me tell you why. I can get my audio books in my ears and I can just run, just go for it. And I love that, because then I'm in my own little world. Now, when you're coding, you got to read. Now, I'm good at it because I speed read. I'm a speed reader.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't bother me, but my favorite thing was billing.
I didn't know that. I thought you liked the coding better.
No, I don't necessarily like it better. I mean, cardiology coding, you guys just got a piece of that, right? I was a cardiology coder. Would you like to do that for a living?
No, ma'am. No, I will.
Okay. So I did some coding with the like the digestive system. I loved that, but I only got handed that every so often. So, but if I had to return to coding and I could pick a specialty, it would not be cardiology. But I did it, and I did it well because I learned the tricks. And where do the tricks come from? Well, when you get to your jobs, they have cheat sheets everywhere. Make a copy, put it in a binder, and refer to your cheat sheets always.
Yep.
So that's
gold right there. That is
right.
Gold nugget of information.
I'm the binder queen, y'all.
Oh, and you'll have two, because most billing offices, you don't have one computer monitor. You got so much going on with what you're working on. They come equipped with, you have a dual monitor system. You will have sticky notes all around there. Logins, insurance verification phone numbers, tax IDs, NPIs. I mean, just a plethora of sticky notes. Lots of sticky notes. But it's a fun job though, y'all, really. It's a fun job because each thing you code, each scenario you look at, each patient record you read is a little bit different. So your work varies. So that's the good thing about it. If you're one of those people like me who get bored really fast and really easy, this is a good job to have because it'll keep you interested. It'll keep your interest. All right, so Module 155. In this one, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna finish up the coding portion of things, and the fun is gonna start in 156. I love when we end coding and start the fun stuff. Because what I call the fun stuff is learning an EHR system, which is software. Y'all get to play in an EHR system, a simulator, for all of your assignments and stuff. They're basically doing office tasks. And that's a lot more fun than coding to me. So y'all are gonna enjoy that. And that's gonna be in modules 156 and 157. And then the module 158 is 5 days long. And that's your career services module. And I'll give y'all a little tip on that one. Your final exam for Module 158 is to email me a completed resume or upload your resume to the assignment page. That's the final exam. Most of y'all already got that saved to the computer. But you are going to get tips in that course for refreshing it and updating it. And we should also have a meeting with Career Services about that time, which is going to be great for y'all new starts because that's going to be right around your midpoint. Y'all are going to be really close to midpoint. So that's going to be fantastic timing for y'all. So that's fun. But 155, while we're in here, we're going to be looking at chapters 24 through 27 in our step-by-step for medical coding. Okay. We're going to continue on. We're going to talk about radiology, medicine, and inpatient coding in this one.
And also
Look back at
lab
the
and
notes.
pathology.
Right, and laboratory and pathology services. Y'all remembered me talking to y'all and showing y'all in the CPT manual about the pathology section in the alphabetic index? You're gonna get deep into that, real deep into that. So
It's very interesting. You'll be talking about, you know, we all have to go have blood work, right? These blood panels. Well, pathology and lab is where your blood panels are found. And it's, to me, it's a very interesting thing. But I'm going to give you a tip. In your CPT manual, every panel that you have, highlight it and write in big letters what that panel is. So you don't have to look at the little bitty stuff. So if you want to, I'm not going to pull out if you want a calcium panel, all you have to do is look for the word calcium written really big on the side. I like rainbows, butterflies, and sparkles. So everything has to be pink, green, purple. So I highlight it that way. I'll color it. So, but
yeah.
I want
Marsha, I have advised them, and just correct me if I'm wrong, that they're not supposed to have written, their manuals are not supposed to be written in when they go to take the NCCT certification, right?
no, they can be.
They can be written in?
That is
Just
their
no loose papers? Just no loose papers?
No loose papers. Whenever you go, well, and if you have it at home, but they'll have you shake your manual, and if anything falls off, it cannot go with you. So, but you're not going to have to do that because there's lots of note pages in there to write you some cheat sheets, and you really don't need to do that. Here's something that I'm going to tell you guys that is so important. Not memorization, but knowing where to go to find the information. If you want to know where your medical terms are, make you a tab that says medical terms. That way you know exactly where it's at. It is your manual. It is your book. It is your resource. Make it yours. Get in it. Look at it. Dig in it. The better you know your manuals, the better coder you're going to be and the more comfortable you're going to be. This is your book. Now I'm going to quit talking.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, she's totally right though. She's totally right. It's like I told y'all, it's a lot of personal preference how you tab your manual, and like she may have the medical terms bookmarked, but like y'all know that I have the modifiers and the medical terms in the front, that XX page that I like so much. I have those tabbed because I find those really useful. You know, it's a lot of personal preference, and the more you're in it, the more you're going to figure out what your preference is. Y'all may look at it right now and go, what difference does this make? As you go along, you'll figure that out, what difference it makes to you and how you want to set it up. But yeah. So pathology and laboratory, radiology, medicine, and inpatient coding is what we're going to be looking at in module 155. All right, so there's Marcia's C, highlighted the crap out of it. Highlighted the snot out of that book, did you? Now, I will say that I have stuff starred and underlined and things like that in mine. I don't have anything like that, but I've also never been just a coder like Marcia has. I've always held more of a billing position and did some light coding here and there, stuff like that. So yeah, so my book's not as used as hers. My book is not as quite as used, and she has taught this program for 4 years, right? 4, 5, going on 5, something like that.
4.5.
4.5, going on 5. So she's got some use out of that book. Anyway, so today we're going to talk a little bit your first exam. And here's what's good about this module, it being really short. The exams are not going to be as extensive really as your exams were in 154. They're going to be a little bit lighter and a little bit easier to handle. Okay. These chapters are fairly short, so that's good too. That's good too. And today we're going to talk about chapter 24 because that's what y'all started reading on Tuesday. Hopefully y'all been reading as the days have gone by. All right, so who can tell me what radiology is?
It's the branch of medicine that uses radiant energy to diagnose and treat patients.
You got your book open right in front of you because that's like word for word. Nothing wrong with that if you do. Nothing wrong with that if you do. But I mean, just like dead on. Dead on. Perfect, Angel. Thank you. Yes, radiology is the branch of medicine that uses radiant energy to diagnose and treat patients. And what they're talking about here, guys, is like ultrasounds, image guided therapy, mammographies. There's certain radiation in, that has to do with oncology and cancer care and things like that. So nuclear medicine, that's another one. That's one I always forget because I just don't have any experience with nuclear medicine at all. But that's included in the radiology section as well. So I'm going to pick on you now, Angel. All right. So let's talk a little bit about radiology terminology, because unless you have worked in that field or had some type of injury where you've needed a bunch of x-rays or any kind of imaging done, you're probably not that familiar with it. So that's one of the first things we're going to go over today is some of the terms associated with the radiology section. All right, Angel. Radiography. Page 616, if you're not there already.
I have it in my notes. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, absolutely, Jackie.
It indicates any number of methods used by radiologists to diagnose testing.
Thank you, ma'am. See, I told you, my new students are on fire. My new students are on fire. Yes, that is exactly right. Radiography is a broad term used to indicate any number of methods used by radiologists to do diagnostic testing. And again, that could be anything like an x-ray, an ultrasound, an MRI, EKGs, I don't think, are EKGs radiology? All right, there you go. EKGs are radiology.
93016 or 93015.
Got to be kidding me. She did it for so long, she knows it off the top of her head.
And with the 26 modifier every time, because I worked for a cardiologist, but y'all learn about that modifier a little later.
Yep. That's too funny. Thank you, Marcia. That's awesome. All right, so one of the things I wanted to point out about radiography, we've been doing a lot of different stuff with medical terminology, with our videos and whatnot. So let's break down radiography real quick. It breaks down into, the first section would be radio. And then the second part, the suffix on there will be graphy, radiography. All right. So the suffix graphy means making a film. Radio, radiology. Radio making film. Radio testing. You get how it fits in there? What's the word I'm looking for? How it relates to what they're talking about, to image guided testing, to ultrasounds and things like that. Okay. All right. Fluoroscopy.
Angel's like, this is mine. Just hang on.
Fluoroscopy is the procedure of viewing the interior of body using X-rays and projecting the image into television screens.
Bingo. Bingo. Perfect. Yes, that's right. Okay, so I have had one of those done. I had an issue with my gallbladder. Okay. They had to go in, put the little scope, and see what was going on with that thing. It was only functioning at like 17%. So it had to come out. But anytime you see a word that ends with scopy, just remember about them inserting the little camera. That's what that's all about. The scopy part of it is all about that. And like I said, you will see endoscopy, fluoroscopy, or scopy. Different people say it different ways. Tomato, I say. But yes, perfect. That's right. All right, so magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. I'm gonna go ahead and read this one to y'all. Is radiology technique that uses magnetism, radio waves in a computer to produce images of body structures. The MRI scanner is a tube surrounded by a giant circular magnet. Any of y'all ever had an MRI? I have had one of those as well. I had back surgery, so they had to do an MRI of my back before, to see what was wrong with my discs and whatnot, to find out if I needed surgery, see the extent of the damage. Now, the cool thing, the difference between an X-ray and an MRI, when you're looking at an X-ray, you are looking at just one plane of the body. It's a flat image, right? But when they do an MRI, they put you in this tube and you have the outside of the tube rotates around you while you're laying there, and it's really, really loud, and you're really, really confined, and it's really, really uncomfortable.
Okay,
And
so I have a question.
what you got?
So I had went through something whenever I had gotten in a car accident, and it was a circular tube, and they had to lay me on the table, and I went inside of it, and they scanned my whole body. So that's considered an MRI.
Yeah, they took a full body. You were like in a car accident, something like that. Yeah, they were trying to get a full body view of any damage that you had, basically. Yep, unfortunately. And like I said, it is loud in there. It is not comfortable. And that's why you'll see there's a lot of businesses that have been opened up, independent MRI companies. They spend a bunch of money to get an open air MRI, and then they charge a set price. Because here's a tidbit, an insurance tidbit, especially Blue Cross Blue Shield. They will deny a claim for an MRI with the quickness. And a patient can get an MRI. I I didn't even go through my insurance when I did it, y'all, because it was such a hassle. They were gonna deny it anyway. And in order to get it approved, I would have had to go through 8 weeks of physical therapy just to get the MRI approved and payable. Where at that point, I was at a point where I couldn't even sit in a chair for more than 20 minutes without it causing severe pain. I couldn't I couldn't drive a car. I could barely walk. By the time I had surgery, I was almost crippled. It hurt so bad. So there was no way I could go through 8 weeks of therapy just to get the picture of what's wrong with my back. That wasn't gonna happen. So I just paid cash for it, $500. Not that I could afford that, but I didn't have a choice because, when you're in debilitating pain and you've lost your job because you can't sit in an office chair for 8 hours anymore, you got to do something, right? So I paid cash for it. So that's a tidbit about MRI. If y'all are ever in a situation where you get injured and your doctor wants an MRI, get with your insurance company and find out if it would just be better for you to do cash pay for that, because they're going to deny it almost every time. So insurance tidbit there. But yeah, but the cool thing about the MRI, when they travel around the body like that, they get a 3D image. They get a 3D picture that they can manipulate and look at, and look at the depth of things, of cracks in bones and stuff like that. Fortunately with mine, they were able to find out that I had a disc that went kablooey, basically. Everywhere. And now I have a nice little titanium piece right there where that is. So, fun times, y'all, fun times. But that is what an MRI is. All right, so tomography.
The word is a tomography or a CT scan that uses that is used to view single plane of a body.
Exactly. Very good. All right. And that's basically, tomography is essentially when they take an x-ray and you get that one plane of the body, whichever direction you're facing, that's the flat image that they're going to get of your body. All right. Jackie, you want to do biometry?
Sure. Application of a, let's see if I write that. I kind of wrote messy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read
That's
my.
fine. That is fine.
Okay. Application of a statistical method to a biologic fact. I don't know if it, yeah. I don't know if I got the full definition on that though.
You did. You got the whole first sentence. Biometry is the application of a statistical method to a biological fact. For example, and I'm going to read this example because I don't know any personally. For example, the application of this science in radiology has resulted in analysis of data this might be a grammatical error in our textbook. For example, of the effectiveness of radiation used in the treatment of brain tumors, science applied to biology. The effectiveness of radiation used in the treatment of brain tumors. Okay, so biometry essentially is just how they apply scientific data to medicine, essentially. They do a study on the effectiveness of radiation on a brain tumor. That's considered biometry. Okay, cool. All right, just a couple of things I want y'all, if y'all did not pay attention to it while you were reading, go back and take a look-see. There's a section on page 617 that starts talking about the planes And that's like I was talking about with an x-ray, you see one plane of the body, one directional. Pay attention to that section if y'all didn't, and kind of, see how that's laid out, how the planes are laid out. And there are also illustrations of that same concept in the CPT manual too, in that section.
Yeah, I found that the illustrations helped you understand it better than just like reading about it.
Yes, the illustrations for the radiology section are key. They really will help you because a lot of that stuff is visual. You got to think about it visually, and not everybody's that kind of thinker. Sometimes, like me, I need to see things. I need to see it. So it's like to learn how to do something, y'all, I have to do it. Like I could sit there and watch somebody for a month and not get it. I'm not going to get it until I put my hands on it and I do it myself, work through it myself, whatever. I cannot walk. I've had many a manager who did not like that when they were trying to train me to do stuff. They want to show you how to do something and then expect you to go on. It's like, no, I need to walk through it. Anyways, yeah, planes. Look for those illustrations. Your test is going to be on Monday. Tomorrow is going to be basically a review day, and then test will be on Monday. And then we're going to jump right into chapter 25. But like I always tell y'all, if y'all are doing the chapter exercises and the reviews that I assign and stuff, y'all are gonna have no problem with the exam. And my new students, this is where you hit the ground running, because y'all are now doing the regular assignments with the rest of the class. So y'all will be expected to take those exams. And I have a couple of new students that are doing really great with daily assignments, but y'all are falling a little bit behind on your labs. Y'all are not doing those. And I've seen a couple of zeros come through because they're closing on you before you get them completed. So try to have your labs completed by Sunday at 11:55, guys. Remember that they close. And also remember that for me to reopen an assignment is extra work for me. Okay, so I don't mind reopening assignments for y'all when y'all have something going on. I don't mind at all. It's my pleasure to do so. But if we have like say we just had that 40-day module, right? If you didn't do any of your labs, because I promise I didn't leave you alone the entire module and just not let you do your labs. I reminded you about them labs all through that module. And then the last day you want me to open a bunch of stuff for you. And I'm trying to finalize everybody else's grades. That could be hard for me to fit in. I'm just saying. That's work on top of work that I've already done. So I got to take care of everybody else who had their stuff in on time and get those grades submitted on time. And in some cases, I can go to my supervisor and ask if I can have extra time because student had X, Y, and Z going on. But here's the other thing. If I don't know that you have X, Y, and Z going on, I can't go to bat for you. Okay? So that being said, just y'all, the couple that are falling behind on labs, y'all just try to step that up a little bit, okay? I don't want to see you fall behind. I want everybody to succeed. Okay? And for God's sake, if you have a legitimate reason for getting behind, get with me. Communicate.
For the test that we have Monday, is it a time test?
No, I don't do time tests ever. Never, ever. Because I'd fail it. I'd fail it if you put me under that kind of pressure. So no, none of your tests are timed. One thing I do want to mention, make sure that when y'all are uploading assignments, after that you click that green submit button. And that could, because I can see where it's uploaded, but once you upload it and you submit it for grading, it'll close it and let me know. So just make sure y'all are hitting that submit button. But otherwise, no, all of your tests will be in e-learning unless we have, and this has happened, we have an outage with e-learning there was a period of time last year where e-learning was down for almost 2 months. Everything was being done via email and stuff, and the Remind app and things like that. So crap happens, y'all. Crap happens. It happens to all of us. So if something like that happens, you know, of course, I'll email you like a PDF test or something like that. But otherwise, it'll always be an e-learning, never be timed, multiple choice, small short answer stuff. I usually do not do essays for exams. Like I leave those for like lab assignments and stuff like that. So you won't ever have an essay section usually on a regular chapter test. Now I think once we get to module 156 or 157 and we start doing like some customer service related stuff and communicating with patients and insurance company type stuff, I think we do have a few essays in there, but I don't think they're on exams. I think they were like lab assignments. So no stress there. And I usually do, if I do an essay or something like that, I'll do a word requirement, but it's not ever going to be anything ridiculous. It won't ever be anything ridiculous. Y'all will learn as y'all go through. The work, when you lay it out, it might look like a lot. Once you get in and start doing it, it's not that much. Because I mean, some of the chapter exercises only have 3 questions. You know, so it's not as overwhelming as it might look at first glance. And plus, I'm not going to work y'all like dogs. Y'all got lives. I know it. All right, so that is about all I've got for y'all today. Do y'all have any questions about anything? Course related, module related, anything at all? I am really sorry that we had to cancel both meetings Tuesday.
Well, can I possibly get like some more practice work on the what book is that? I think it's the
Not till we get there.
I did some work in it like
And you're
recently.
doing good. You're actually doing good.
Like it took me like about an hour to find all this stuff, and I'm like, look, I can't be doing this for the exam.
We are going to, let's see. This week was supposed to be the last CPT workshop, and then we're starting ICD-10. But really, you do not need to stress about ICD-10 until we get to that material. But I will do some workshops on it coming up here shortly. So you'll be able to get some practice in there. But yeah, I'm sorry guys that we had to cancel the NCCT review for Tuesday. I was supposed to host that one, and we ended up canceling that. I had a kid homesick Tuesday and Wednesday, plus module ending, so grades to put in. New module to put together with e-learning, having technical issues and not want to save any of our changes. It has been a really overwhelming and stressful week for me. So I feel like I'm really failing at life right now. How are y'all doing? Y'all are good, making it?
It's actually like I'm thinking whenever I started, it was gonna be hard trying to find codes, but really and truly, like if you really pay attention and like you said, like kind of make notes on where everything is, it's kind of easy to find and understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, and Angel, you're catching on really, really quickly. Most folks don't catch on quite as quickly as you are. But also, y'all, she's not only been doing the new student assignments, she's been doing all of them. So she's getting that practice in. And like I say, the more you practice, the more assignments you go through and chapter exercises you go through, it's going to start clicking. It's going to start clicking really good. So she's getting her practice in, you know, so she's kind of ahead of the game. But you're doing excellent, Angel. Really excellent.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Okay. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. Everybody on this call is doing actually really well. I want to say Angel, Karanisha, Jackie, and Jerica. I think all of y'all finished Module 154 with an A. So that's wonderful. That is good stuff.
That's great.
I think, don't quote me on that, Jerica. I'm not done with the grades for your section, but I'm pretty sure you're Abrams. So you're at the top of my list. I'll be
Yes,
looking at them tonight, but I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, you were either you had an A or were real close to it. So I'm
I
sure
take either one.
I'm sure by the time I get the finals graded and all that, you'll be okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is all I have for you guys today. Any other questions, any concerns, anything like that? No? All right, well, guys, keep on killing it. Y'all are killing it. So just keep up the good work. Y'all are doing really, really well. Be proud of yourselves too. And have an awesome weekend. Stay safe. Get some downtime in. Jerica, stay on for me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys.